the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, please bring us insight, patience, and perseverance as we try to make the best decisions for our town. Amen.
Tammy Everett.
Present.
Carol Youngblood.
Here.
Bill Fowler.
Here.
Lauren Moore.
Here.
Ryan Mark.
Here.
Everybody's present.
Two of everything.
All right, before we get started tonight, I just wanted to bring to the audience's attention, on your agenda, there's a QR code. We have got some really great things done. I'd like to thank Mary Ann and Donald for their tireless hours getting all this together for us, but we now have everything that we're looking at is available for the entire audience to look through this QR code. So if you have any questions about what we're discussing, it's open to you just as it is to us. All right. First thing is the review of the minutes from the June 24th council meeting. Were there any questions or discussion on those?
I move that the minutes be approved as presented.
I'll second.
Do you guys want to perhaps amend that motion to do the July 14th also? Since
I
said that?
thought I said both minutes.
Oh, okay, awesome.
I thought I said both minutes. Yeah, I did both sets of minutes.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. I know that we have gotten June's reconciliation and July's packets out. Did anybody have any questions on that or discussion?
Except they're sure charging us an awful lot for that blow. I move that the reconciliation and claims packet be approved as presented.
I second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Mary, do we have anyone that signed up to speak tonight?
I haven't, I'm sorry. But we don't know.
All right. So there's no one that's signed up for public comment. Is there anybody that had wanted to sign up that didn't get a chance to do so? All right. Then we can move to the public hearing on sewer rates for non-residential customers. Mary Ann, do you want to kind of discuss where we're at with this?
Tammy and I have went back and forth with this. She wants us to look at approving it with the unmetered rates and charges. And then we can work with the individual businesses. If they will give us access to the water usage, we can work with them on their sewer bill. So,
Well, I have a question on the list that we have here. I just want to let you know, there's an item under Track Plus. It says S. I don't know what that has to be, or what it is. I was just curious what it was.
what is it?
S. It's just the letter S. It's on the last page. There was race, and then there's Track Plus, and there's S. I'm not sure what those are, but there's.
That would be a Lou question.
I'm just saying there's those three items. I'm just not sure what those are. So.
I'm gonna see if it's on the copy that's on the computer also.
Oh, I didn't check that. I was just looking at the hand copy. Does anybody else know what that was?
It's still on there the same way.
It's the same way on there.
Yep.
Yeah, Lou and Jonathan are the ones that supplied the unmetered rates and charges.
Okay.
And just to clarify a little bit on that, so Mary Ann had been working with Lou to try to come up after last month's meeting. We felt like some of them were pretty exorbitant and we didn't think that that was accurate. So basically, we can't rewrite state statute. So we can offer to make adjustments if they'll bring in their water bills. And then we can, try to assign them an EDU like we did with the schools and so forth. So I don't know that we're quite ready to pass it either. I'm just saying that we have to leave it at state statute. And then if somebody could come in and bring us and show us that they're not using as much water as the state is allowing for us to charge them, we would be happy to make an adjustment for them. But since we don't have access to their water bills, they'll need to come to us to do that. That's all I was saying. It's like, I do believe that, we should probably still discuss this tonight and then table it for further review and then kind of reach out to those businesses and see if anybody's willing to, get those to us even beforehand so that we can make a decision on that. And, we'd asked everybody to take a look at that last month also. So want us to go ahead and discuss questions, concerns that have come up since you've been thinking about it.
There is one thing I did. I guess what you just said would apply to where it says industrial then, because it says TBD on there.
So the TBDs are for things that are not covered or not built,
Okay.
because they have to be
Okay.
negotiated when they're being developed. Does anybody have any other things that they want to talk about on that?
Your hesitancy to pass it tonight is based on just wanting to give it a little more time for the businesses to respond?
I think my hesitancy is that I honestly, Mary and I were working up until about 4:00 on it, and I just haven't seen the last switch over.
Sure.
I'm just being honest that I haven't had a chance to look at that because I had an appointment at 4:30. But I can look at it real quick if that.
No, I just wanted to kind of see where we were all at. And I think since it is a fresh document, I don't know that any of us have had time to really fully appreciate it. So I'm willing to make a motion to table this until next month after we have had time to review it more thoroughly ourselves and possibly give some of the businesses in town time to also review and respond.
But also, Mary, that we've advertised for a public hearing, right?
We did, but if we table it, we don't have to advertise it again.
But we can allow comment tonight.
Yes, we
If
can.
anybody
If
has.
anyone has a comment on it, yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions about the sewer changes? Nope. All right, well, I just want to make sure that there wasn't anybody here to speak about it, and I wasn't going to get to do that. So now I will entertain your motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, well, we will revisit this. Oh, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll revisit this in August. Anything that you wanted us to address in old business, Marion?
I don't believe so.
That's what I thought. All right, so in new business, we have some representatives here from the Lockmuller Group. We had a quick meeting with them to discuss having, I guess you guys used to have another engineer that you worked with that was on call also. And so that also we can have them give us some opinions on the expansion and all of that as a second opinion.
Okay, we're in new business now.
I have asked them to provide a on-call agreement. Do you guys want to say anything? You good? No, I think I'm good, but I got to meet with you, so I wanted to see if anybody had any questions or anything.
So is this along with what we already have, or is this something completely different? Or are they gonna replace it, or is this a bid for services that we haven't decided?
So you used to have another engineer, I guess, that on call. And I've been told it's pretty common to have more than one of each type of vendor, just in case you need to get, and it spurred from my concern about, and Ryan, we had been discussing, some of the questions that we have about the expansion, that maybe we should also have them look at the plans that we have in place for the expansion and see if they have anything that they can add. Yeah, absolutely. This is Todd Trinkle with Lockmuller.
See a couple of familiar faces from way back. So we met with Tammy and Ryan I remember on May 29th, because it was the same evening that my twin granddaughters were born. And I have to remember that. And we talked about needs in the town, and being from here and working with Lockmuller Group, I thought maybe we might be able to help. I work in our water resources department, and I said to Tammy and Ryan, if you have need of assistance with wastewater, stormwater, those types of things, we could help. And we got in a little further discussion about wastewater, and that the town was looking at doing a wastewater treatment plant expansion, and that the current wastewater treatment plant was already at capacity, or maybe even beyond at times. And they wanted to make sure that the town was making the right move as far as sizing of that wastewater treatment plant expansion. And Tammy asked if we could put together a master services agreement, which I hope you have a copy of. I only brought 3. I didn't make enough. And also the first task order, which was to help with wastewater issues, working of course with Mary Ann and your wastewater treatment plant operator, and see what suggestions we might be able to make. And if there are questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Have you seen the plans for the expansion yet, or?
I have looked at them. I haven't thoroughly reviewed them. Let me first of all say, I forgot to start out with this. I'm not an engineer. I'm a regular person just like you are. And I've looked at them. I've been in wastewater for 30 years, and it's trying to remember, it's about a 50% increase, I believe, as my memory serves me. And it's a expansion of what's existing. And I think one of the main questions is, typically if, say, Monrovia goes to a lender, like say the state revolving fund, they look at a 20-year window of time. And the concern in the meeting that we had was, well, will this size of a plant serve us for the full length of the loan? And I think that's one of the key things that the town might want to examine and make sure that that's the best sizing for the plant.
And it's just like getting a roof or a bathroom put in, whatever. You meet with one contractor and they say, this is exactly what you gotta do. You gotta do it this way. You meet with another one, they'll say, absolutely, you gotta do it this way. There's absolutely no other way to do it. And sometimes you have to take a little bit of each person's theory on what you're gonna do. And so I just really feel like this is a major spend and we need to have more than just one set of eyes on the project, especially since we've seen such a great gallon jump in the last year and a half, 2 years. So it's my recommendation.
Sean, are we going to the maximum expansion this time, or are we going to?
Now, your plant right now, 200,000 gallons is capacity. That's what we're at every day now. Your next expansion will get you up to 450, so it's a little over 50%, but it's not as big as I like, yeah.
We're at 3 right now, right? 300,000 gallons?
Well, some days, but not always.
But that's our capacity, not 200.
Is it 3? I thought it was 2. Okay. Is it 3? Okay, sorry. I misspoke.
That's all right. You have a lot of them.
300, so yeah, so I guess it would be 50%.
Okay.
Yeah, I would prefer to see it bigger, but if that's what they have to do. Now, I don't know, there's so many things that play into that with the engineering, Aramod plant, if you're sticking with that, that plays into it too. What you can get approved funding wise plays into it. There's so many different variables. All I am is the lowly operator. I just make sure that once they figure it all out and get it built, I make sure it runs right. It does what they say it's gotta do.
I'm just wondering if the darn plant is gonna hold up until we get the expansion. I mean, even with the upgrade.
You mean, oh, yeah, it should. I mean, that's why I'm doing, I don't know if you saw some of the emails I've been emailing IDEM.
Yeah, oh, I have seen some of those.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing some
Okay.
finagling of operations of the plant and changing some things that I can change to get us by.
Okay.
So we're not having problems.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Lockmuller Master Services Agreement. I think it's important for us to have a backup and a secondary engineering firm. So I'll make that motion to approve this.
I'll second that.
All right, and all those in favor? say
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Trinkle.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to let Marianne discuss the violation letters that she's sent out in April.
Per Tammy's request, I put the violation department on the agenda. I have 3 violations that I sent out April 28th. I have not heard from any of the individuals, and none of the properties have improved.
What's your recommendation for next step? What's our policy or procedure for next step?
Could I ask,
That would be a lawyer question.
were those registered letters or were they just regular postal?
Yes, they were.
They were, okay, I'm
certified
sorry.
valid,
I
Yes,
just want to be sure that,
yes.
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
What, it's a who question?
I would think that's a Samantha question as far as what is the next step with our,
Yeah, what we can do.
either Samantha or the Ordinance Violation Bureau.
Yeah, it's just about, it depends on what the policy or procedure says that we have written. Do we have a written procedure policy?
Yeah, when this ordinance was passed for the Ordinance Violations Bureau, it should be spelled out what's next. I think,
Typically, they have 30 days to either comply or to file that they don't feel like it's right. They've done neither. So I truly do not know what the next step is. I mean, the next step would be maybe request that they come in and be heard.
well,
be
I'm
seen by the
pretty
Board
sure
of
when we did all this, there was fines, right?
Mhm.
I remember,
Yes.
They're defined fines.
I say I remember, but I was an audience member at the time that you guys were
Yeah.
voting on.
But we did pass it.
Or did it come through planning commission? Is that why I remember it?
That's why you remember it came from them.
And
So
then-
there's-
And then we approved it. We had passed it.
Now, if I remember right, this Rosemary Gaskins is deceased,
She is.
okay?
That's
And
that Henshaw.
nobody
Lots of people claim to have ownership. No one has sent me any proof that they own it.
Well, no one can, because she's dead, she can't deed it, right?
Well,
So
there's
it's gonna-
supposedly a will.
She owns it, and until it's probated or something changes, she still owns it, she's still the owner of record. And we asked the county about taxes, because they were past due last fall. I would think what needs to happen next is a notice, the violation saying you owe us now X amount of dollars, and the continuing fine is X amount of dollars per day if it's not remedied, right? That's
What about condemnation? That's what I think we need to do with Gaskins. We need to go ahead and condemn it because it's unsafe building.
Yeah, well, condemnation is different than unsafe building, so there's two different things. It would go through the unsafe building statute, which I think I sent you guys the statute yesterday or 2 days ago, just to look over under Title 36. Typically, the county boards of health, they get money from the state or feds that help remove, because it has to be demoed, right? Usually unsafe buildings, like the one that collapsed on the sidewalk about last year.
Yeah.
I think I told you the same thing.
Right.
That they have, but those folks had insurance and they were going
Yes,
back and
they did.
forth. This, I'm guessing, is completely uninsured, so it just comes straight out of taxpayer dollars. So, and demos are not cheap. Typically when I've dealt with demos, they've been like 25 grand and up, and you have to make sure the environmental stuff is okay. I'll need to get a permit from the county, so I know Mary Ann emailed the county to see, I know they said, well, Monrovia is an incorporated area, that doesn't matter, the county is the one that has the money, right? The county is the unit of government that gets money from the state for demos or feds or whatever else, so if they don't have money, then, but we need to, there's a whole legal process. It's a filing in court where you have to file and say, this building is unsafe. It's a lawsuit essentially.
Then I think we should go ahead and then proceed.
Well, we need
What
to,
they're saying.
but this just says you have 30 days to do it. You need to send some type of, you now owe X, because that amount, the damage needs to be put into the lawsuit itself, right? You received this, nothing has changed. Inspections were done on these dates type things. Nothing has changed. Here are the pictures or whatever. And you owe us this amount of money and it's this amount per day. Usually it's a certain amount per day, right?
Yeah.
So the initial fee could be, $2,500 and it's $750 each additional day. That's what the state statute says. I can't recall what the ordinance said. We accept.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the numbers get really large, but then that's been put into a lawsuit that they were put on notice this date. They were sent violation letters these dates. They owe this amount and that's the damage. And also under the unsafe building code, that's different. It's what usually the Board of Health would file, saying this building is unsafe. We have been out there. It cannot be inhabited. It cannot be occupied. It needs to be demolished because it's falling down. It prevents a public health issue, safety issue, etc.
So would you recommend that?
Because it's someone's property. We can't just go in. I know we can't just go in and say, I don't like this. I know she's dead. We're tearing it down. Then you're gonna draw lawsuits, right? So it has to be done. There's a whole legal process that has to be done. And I know it sounds weird because of all the facts known to you guys.
But wouldn't we want Mary Ann to go ahead and send another letter saying, now you've already gone ahead and passed your 30 days. This is what your fines are so far, before we would go ahead and consider taking straight legal action on
In
that?
our UDO, it says if a person does not deny or admit it, that it is to be reported to the town attorney.
Okay. Well, then I guess that's what we would do.
But we haven't told them anything that they owe. That's the
Right.
problem.
Right.
Like in these letters, it doesn't say, if this is not fixed on X day, you're gonna start accruing fines.
I know that information is out there because we had another property that we
Yes.
filed a court case on because they didn't.
So outside the unsafe building ones, that's what I'm gonna do, because you have to fight, these are lawsuits too. If they don't remedy it, then we're gonna say, okay, well, you were put on notice this date, the fees start accruing as of this date, you've not fixed it, now we're at day 150 and you owe $200,000 because it's $750 a day, every single day until it's fixed.
So Mary Ann, are you asking for some direction from the council on what to do with the next step?
I have 3 templates. One is admission, one is denial, and one is an ordinance violation that is a fee is attached to. I can send those out first thing in the morning to these 3, give them 30 more days. If they don't comply, at that point, it needs to be turned over to the town attorney.
Yeah, initiate the lawsuit.
Yep, and I would put in the letter, make sure, like, it even says, maybe like you have until this date I mean,
Yes.
fines start accruing, the date of I would list the date of the first violation. So if this went out in April, I would say the date of the first violation was April 15th, I'm making that up, right? Since then, we have done inspections, we have sent you letters, you have not responded. As you know, per, and quote the ordinance, this is the amount of fees that accrue, blah, 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 right? And so it's been accruing since the date of the violation that you were notified of. So then when a lawsuit is filed, that lawsuit will say, you were notified on April, blah, 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 about the violation that has been ongoing, and the rate of the fees are X. And then you move forward with the lawsuit.
I would suggest though, in the future, as far as our letters that we go out, I think we should put a CC for a town attorney on it as well.
She does,
Oh, okay, I just didn't see anything on that.
right? You sent that to Samantha, didn't you?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, it should be on the letter as well too, I would think. Put a
Yes,
CC
I
for
believe
town
I
attorney
sent
on it.
those to you.
I know I've seen Gaskins, like, we've dealt with that a lot,
Yeah.
but I don't know if the other two.
And normally, you know, in a formal letter, you would, to Phil's point, there would be an indication in the letter that you have who it's been CC'd to.
Would it do any good for the letter to come from you, Samantha?
Mm-mm. Nope, because that's the next step. Right.
And I would say it shouldn't come from her because we're talking about the town's authority here. She's just working for the town. So I would think that everything should come from the authority of the town's authority. As the leading authority. And
Well,
Jesus, we're
none of
good.
us want to have to do this, but we also have a responsibility to their neighbors to get it taken care of. So, yes, we need to escalate that. I don't think that requires a vote because it's already in the UDO. What do
And you
you,
could list it as violation number, or notice number 2 or whatever, right? So like, you know, typically like when you, say code enforcement of any town or county or whatever goes out, they'll notice a violation, issue the violation, saying, we were out on this date, you have these things that are wrong. You know, you don't have to attach pictures, but keep those pictures for use later. And then you have 30 days under state law and local law to appeal this or admit, deny, pay, or just remedy it, fix it, right? And then usually, day 31, another inspection is done. Like, well, you had 30 days, now we're at day 31, so now you've got violated again, and so now this isn't fixed, paid, whatever, we're gonna pursue further legal action.
but I don't
No,
think we
you'll need
require a
it's the
vote. I mean,
UDO.
it's already in our
It's the
UDO. We
UDO.
just need
Yep.
to, she doesn't want to do it, and we don't want to do it, but we have to.
You know,
We have to do it. All right. Let's see. Planning Commission update, there was no meeting this month, so there's no updates. The next thing is the police department update.
So you have the stats. Stats are, again, they're kind of staying pretty steady throughout the summer so far. Some of the calls are picking up a little bit. We had some kids last night running around with a gun. Officer Cole ended up having them stopped. He had them at gunpoint to find out that it was a BB gun. But needless to say, that could have went very south very fast because the gun looked just like a real gun. It had no red tip on the front end of it. And they were not Morgan County residents.
Where were they at?
They parked over by the post office. They walked over to Dairyland. They ran down by the festival building and they ran back down. One of the residents seen it. One of the residents somehow seen the gun or seen the gun get flashed. Made the call. Cole was close enough. He took care of it. Again, things like that. Obviously, again, there were kids that were coming in from not around here. So it's coming. It's coming out here. I mean,
So they were juveniles?
They were old enough to be driving. I'd have to get the more specifics. I just caught a little bit of it from him.
And they just picked Monrovia randomly to raise havoc, or what? Do we know anything more than that?
Not yet. I got to get with him. He was working on some paperwork with it.
Okay.
to finish it up when he came in today. But I just wanted to let you know a little bit about it today. We had an incident today. The Masonic Lodge got vandalized. The door got vandalized. I was able to locate the suspect, and in that, she punched me in the face and she kicked me. She went to jail, needless to say. The biggest issue that I have with both of these, which will kind of lead into the next thing anyway, is Officer Cole's backup was coming from Martinsville last night. My backup was coming from the jail today. It took over 20 minutes to get back up in the middle of a fight in the middle of Baltimore Road. So again, so leading on to the next part, which is we'll jump into the staffing part. I mean, we need more officers. We need more reserves. We need more paid staff. I understand we don't have the money for paid staff right now. We need to be able to overlap shifts. We need to have officers working together so that we don't get somebody hurt. I mean, we're at mid 2,000, close to 2,500 residents. Once Homestead is built out, you're talking another 1,000 residents if every home is sold. That doesn't include if anybody else builds. The staffing level is not where it needs to be for safety. So just consider that. I mean, I really think we need to increase the staffing levels. Again, it's not going to be, there's no way, even if you guys said you could hire 50 people, there's no way I could hire 50 people tomorrow. I don't have a stack of people ready to hire. I would like a number, like I asked for before. I'd like it to be like 15. That way I can start accruing those applications and start vetting people. Even if we go through the whole process, again, they still have to pass our background checks. They have to pass the psychological checks. They have to pass all of that. We're technically right now, we're too short of what we were because we were originally approved for 11, I think the end of last year. Nipper left.
Yeah.
And then the 11th spot was never filled, but we were going to fill that with former officer Jacob Taylor. He didn't pass one of the background stuff, so we didn't fill that spot. So that would have put us at 11. We never made it to 11.
And that's in your budget already?
That was for the reserves. That's what was approved as of the end of last year. We could go up to 11. We just never made it to 11.
Do we have any reserves that are working during the day at all?
Occasionally I have some come in, later, kind of splitting the shifts.
Well, we don't have any, like in the morning or like when you were there any reserves available at the time? No. Okay.
And again, it's not, I don't, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, based on 11 or the 15 that you mentioned down here too, what historically, when we had 11, and how many would it take for you to have 2 on duty at all times? I guess I just want to understand, is it even feasible for us? How many would it take to have 2 people always being available at all times?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say that we need to have 2, I get here around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. There doesn't need to necessarily be somebody else coming in at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning when I get here. I patrol the town. I go talk to the businesses as they're opening up. I drive around. School traffic's going when school's in session, help out with that. It's more of I'd like to have in a perfect world, if we were a full-time department, and just for example, you have day shift, middle shift, overnight shift, and then some departments do what they call a day tack and a late tack, where they have somebody come in 10 o'clock in the morning and work until 6 o'clock at night, and then somebody come in at like 6 o'clock at night and work until 2 o'clock in the morning. It's to be able to have some officers that are more staffing so that we could fill in some of those just some of those times where it might get a little busier, or during school time, potentially have somebody come in, help with the extra morning traffic flow, or make sure we've got officers here at the end of the school day to help with the traffic flow.
Those are the big times.
Weekend hours to have more coverage during the daytime and evenings on weekends, potentially Friday and Saturday nights, maybe more on Sundays as well for some of
Do you
the
have
church-
requirements for the reserves that they have to work one day, you know what I mean? Like, do they have,
They have to work 24 hours a month,
Mhm.
which is 8 hours more than anybody else out in Morgan County.
but I'm just saying, does any of it say through the week? Or they just pick which 24 hours, or do you schedule, how do you schedule them?
So basically, the normally way I do the schedule is, the days that I'm gonna work or the days that I'm not gonna work, or I'm gonna be off, or or when Cole needs off, or when the other, a house settler needs off for the schedule. Once I know the paid staff is gonna be off for sure, if they're gonna be off days, I try to make sure those slots get filled with reserves. And then I have the reserves also pick up some weekend hours, Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays. If something happens where got to go to training or something, I always try to backfill that spot during the daytime so that Mary Ann and the staff in the office have somebody in town that they can call. It's not always possible. And since we're not a full-time department, that stuff comes up. I mean, there is training requirements that we all have to go to every year that we can't not go to. So there are times where there can be significant voids or not anybody working because training classes that we have to go to, keep up certifications or instructor certifications or things like that. To get back to your question, if to staff a department, if this was a total reserve department other than my position, we're not including any time off, it would take 21 reserve officers. That's a model that I've seen used in another place. That's basically one officer. You basically tell the officer, but you're increasing the amount of hours they have to work if you do it that way, because now you're saying you have to work one day every single week. So if it's 4 weeks, you're working 32 hours in that month. And you would say you got to work one day every single week.
And even if you have that many, I mean, my experience with the reserves is they kind of all want to work the same block of hours. So
They do.
So that's tricky.
And
But I have another question.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of, my brain's kind of going in many different directions right now. I think that's kind of where I was going, was we have the 24 hours that you mentioned.
Yes.
Are you saying that because you said that's more than anybody around in Morgan County. So are you saying that's a detriment that we require 24 hours? And if we required less, we would get more applicants to be reserves, or what was the point of that?
I don't think it's a detriment. I don't think we would get more. I don't think we'd get less. I come from up in Indianapolis. The department's up in Indianapolis. The city of Lawrence, for example, the city of Lawrence requires their reserves to work 32 hours a month.
Mm-hmm.
Caveat there, though, they give them a car. Okay, we're not anywhere close to that, probably 50 years from now. The fact is but in my opinion, I thought 16 hours was not enough, especially, my opinion is, especially since we allow our officers to use the police powers to go work off-duty security work or side jobs. They need to give us back something more than what some of the other towns around are doing. So I haven't had a problem finding people that want to work as reserves here. I have a problem finding people that I believe are the right fit.
Yeah.
And are the right candidates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that, as it's important to you guys, it's very important to me, because they ultimately are a direct reflection of me with you guys. If they do something stupid, it falls on me. And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not saying that we're going to get to having 2 officers working all the time every single day of the week. That's down the road. I'm just wanting some baby steps or some steps that we can start moving in that direction. Again, if you guys were to approve and say, yes, the number is 15, I don't think even with my best try, I don't think I could get to 15 officers by the end of this year.
You could either.
Because I don't think I can find, I just don't think the right 15 would come. And I'm not going to say there's going to be some that'll come and apply and we'll put them through the process and they're not going to pass. And we're going to pass on them and we're going to go to the next one.
Did you ever get, Councilwoman Everett, a manning table? I know we talked about this maybe last month, like the schedule of who works when, where, why, and how, because we were talking about having, like what that looks like, the manning table. I know you don't call it a manning table, but I call it, where, how many people we have, what schedule they work, to see like.
The schedule changes from month to month. It doesn't ever stay the same.
Well, but how many hours? Because that gives.
That's what's
her
in
or
this
the
list
council.
right here that I just passed out to them and they're.
Right.
But to your point, I think it would be nice to see the days of the week over the course of a month and see that plotted out instead of just saying they worked 448 hours. Where were those hours at? And how many officers were on duty on any given day over the course? So that we can kind of look and analyze it. You know, this is to some degree, it's looking at the data a little bit to also help us better understand. Because again, got back to, it was maybe kind of just a high level comment, but it seems like when we've talked to the officers on the onboarding side of things, they tend to all want to work, you know, kind of the same
Monday to Friday.
block of hours. And so it would be I think it would be beneficial to see that plotted out more versus just totals of, I had 5 officers that worked 32 hours. Yeah, that's not the numbers. I'm just saying, it'd be nice to see where were those hours at and how many officers did we have for some of that time? Was it 2 officers on duty for a chunk of that time and other days we didn't have anybody? I think it would be helpful. I think it would be a good tool for us you may already use that. I hope you do. I think it would be useful for us to see that. I think that's what you're basically talking about, right?
Yeah, I think they would be, I feel like if somebody asked me something about, you know, that's the first thing they always say is, they've always got somebody pulled over, but where were they, what? You know, like I can say, well, we have so-and-so scheduled. We have this many people this day or whatever, you know, I don't know any of that. That's what I had asked before is like, you know, I need to kind of know when they're in town and when they're doing their hours. And I wonder a little bit also, first, I don't want to get off that because I'm like a ping pong ball. I'll ask my question in a second. So what's your solution to that? How do you schedule them? Do you do just like a calendar? Do you have a system? How do you do that? Because if you do it electronically, it's just a matter of sharing it with us.
So I do a calendar. So like I said, I plot out the days for the days that I work, the days that the other paid officers work. And then what the shifts that are open is then what I put back out to the reserve officers to say, these are the shifts that need to be covered because there's nobody working. And then included with that, I also tell them, hey, you have to work at a minimum, you have to work at least one Friday night or sometime during a Saturday. So we can get some weekend coverage in there. There's some of the officers that's what they want to work. They want to work Saturday nights or Friday nights because that works best for their personal schedule. And then once we get more shifts filled, then I do backfill with some other stuff when there's some extras. When officers still have some hours, and we do primarily try to I do let some officers work together occasionally. It doesn't happen a lot because there's more hours in the day than there are officers that we have. And again, it's not just our problem. It's everybody. It's every police department problem right now. But then you count for days off or time off, or people get sick, or their full-time jobs, or for reserves, their jobs where they get called away, or I can't come in tonight because I got called in, or there's things that fall into that it's out of our control, unfortunately.
So the thing that is bouncing around in my head is we all are taxpayers
Mhm.
and we pay taxes to our town of Monrovia, which allows us to pay for the paid officers. But we also pay taxes to the county for our county sheriff's protection also. So is there a way, is it common or is it uncommon? Like, I feel like maybe you and I should ask for a meeting with Sheriff Myers and find out, like what kind of backup can he give or some
Or
kind
what's
of,
their schedule look like?
yeah, what some kind of, who's supposed to be in the Monrovia area out of the county officers? Where, like why, and it's always been this way. Every time any of us in this room have had to call the police for any reason, it's a 20-minute wait. Why is that? And let's start from the top down. Like, we're doing all we can with our little tiny budget. I feel like, there's room for some discussion at least with Sheriff Myers on who he's got working this area, when.
Well, and I can't speak for them. Normally, they have 5 officers working the whole county during a shift. And that includes their supervisors, work at their sergeant or their lieutenant. And then they've got 4 deputies that have to cover the whole county. Now, obviously, you cut out Martinsville, you cut out Mooresville. I don't believe, I think they're all countywide officers. They don't get assigned, like you're the Northwest quadrant, you're this Northeast quadrant, you're this, because when they get dispatched on a run, they dispatch 2 of them to the run. So if 2 of them get dispatched all the way over to Morgantown, because Morgantown doesn't have anybody, and then 2 of them get dispatched over to Brooklyn because Brooklyn doesn't have anybody, now Morgan County's out of officers.
Now, during the school year, I always saw a deputy sheriff parked up there at the school. we
So
always-
the school pays for that.
Oh,
The
they
school
do.
pays for that out of their budget.
All right.
Their director of security is a reserve officer for Morgan County. He's employed full-time by them, and then they.
But I'm saying if you got in trouble and he was there, could he come to your
He
aid?
wouldn't.
He would
I'm
not?
not gonna say he would. I'm not gonna say he wouldn't. I'm gonna say that,
He can't leave the school unprotected.
yes. If
probably
he's
a
not
school
by
resource officer,
if he's not
No,
by
it's just county
himself,
sheriff.
if he's not by himself,
He's not just a security guy. He's-
some of the guys will come out. Some of the guys have come out. But again, there's 3 schools over there. They have 3 deputies that work over there, him and then 2 other part-time.
Is there a school resource officer here at Monroe County?
Yes.
Schools like that are full-time? That are
No.
part of
They
the
have an
Monroe team?
officer over there every day. They have more than one officer over there every day,
They have
correct?
3.
They don't,
Yeah.
I took, the last time I looked, they don't pay him as an employee like Plainfield has resource officers.
Right, to your, yeah.
But
Most
they,
communities pay them.
but they have somebody there
6,
all the time now
Yeah,
out
Mooresville
of
does.
additional security.
And
Well,
they
see,
pay
that
the
brings
sheriff's
another
office.
issue. If it's well, I guess not an issue, but a question, which we need school resource officers, right? Typically when school systems hire someone, it's a separate pay. It's a different job. It's not their normal.
It's like they're off-duty working.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And they're paid out of the school budget. Like, you don't pull an on-duty officer to go work at a school full-time.
No, they're
That's
not
double
on duty.
dipping.
It's not a county sheriff that's on duty for the county working at the school also. Is that what you're saying?
It's
Yeah.
what, it shouldn't be that.
No,
is what
it's
she's
not.
It is not.
But they
that.
are
I
county
can tell you
sheriffs
exactly how it
saying
works.
that do that, right?
Scott Hamilton, who is the director of safety and security over there, he is paid for by the school.
Right.
He's a reserve deputy for the county. The school hired him as an employee as a director of safety and security. The 2 other deputies that work over there, they rotate. It's not the same 2 deputies. It's 2 deputies that sign up to work over there as off-duty
Right.
when they're not working for the county. And all that money comes,
Yeah.
Scott's money comes out of the school budget.
Yes.
The deputies that work there part-time, that money comes out of the Safe School Grant that they apply for and they get.
That's what I was getting at. That's exactly, that's what I was trying to
So-
explain.
So they're not on duty with the county when they're over there.
But
It's
they're,
the bottom
paid, but they're
line.
paid, they're not doing it just for
Right.
that. They're paid to actually do that.
Correct.
So those, so the answer, long story, the answer to the question, yes. Occasionally, one or two of those officers has come and responded when there was a need. But they can't be gone from the school for a long period of time because they're being paid for by the school, and the school will be like, why are you
Well,
not?
most importantly, you don't know if it's a ploy to get them off of it,
Exactly.
so.
How many total officers, like, how many total paid officers do we have?
We have one full-time and two part-time.
So 3 total for Monrovia, and then all the rest are reserved. How many square miles are they covering?
We only have 1 square mile in Monrovia.
So we cover Monrovia, and then if the county dispatches us other places relatively close, we go cover, because the county covers for us when there's nobody here. Because that's part of the mutual aid, is they mutual aid for us when nobody's here. When they come, we mutual aid for them, or they back us up, we back them up. Again, it's give and take. I mean, again, everybody's shorthanded out here. I mean,
We only have 1
Right.
square. Okay.
so
Have you had any luck trying to fill the 2 open positions?
no, because I was told I couldn't hire anybody last time. So I haven't tried to hire anybody.
You're not looking for reserve officers in?
I haven't been trying to hire anybody because we were at a standstill the last meeting. If I can fill the 2 spots, I will work on filling those 2 spots.
If they're already in the budget, why, I don't remember saying that we couldn't hire somebody. Anybody else feel that way?
I think what you asked for was the manning table, was like the schedule, like to see before we spend money, what does the schedule look like, where we can coverage, and we're talking.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
and I
anybody
think
ever.
where we pushed back was on additional beyond what was budgeted for, I believe.
Okay, then I misunderstood that. That's on me. I'll take that. If I can, I will work on those 2. I will work on a manning table schedule so you guys can see what the
We
schedule looks
approved
like.
one officer to take the place of Nipper being gone.
Yeah, because there was
That
somebody.
was already
supposed
taken
to-
care of.
Yeah.
But that still leaves us the 2 open, her leaving and then us not filling the spot that Jacob Taylor was.
Okay,
So there's
all
still
right.
2 that was originally approved at the
Yeah,
end of
but
last
I
year.
don't remember us saying anything about not, filling them.
Okay, then I misunderstood that. I took it wrong. I misunderstood that. Okay.
On a side note, since we got done speaking about staffing, I noticed that 48,019.
Circle back around.
Yeah,
to that.
circle back. I wanted to ask you about, is that just since just this month, or is this
That's
the
just,
beginning of the
that's
year?
this year.
Okay,
That is this year, January 1 until
$50,000.
the 16th of this month.
Wow.
And that doesn't include the 3 or 4 grants that are hanging out there from the federal government, if I'm lucky enough to get any part of those.
So what is the state JAG? That's huge. How much?
That's the one that pays for the body cameras.
Okay.
It's pretty impressive that you got that kind of money.
Can always use more, but the problem with this stuff is at some point the donor stops. They're like, we gave you so much money, we can't give you any more. We got to go find other needy people, even though you still need. And trust me, I beg, borrow, and steal as much as I can from other places and agencies and ask, and most of them are getting tired of me asking. So I try to pull it back a little bit when it's just something that I absolutely have to have. So.
Would we have any problems with the council going ahead and saying that you can hire up to 15 reserve without any reservations?
So we're gonna need 4 new sets of everything though, right?
It's not, we haven't got that budgeted though, Lauren.
The hardware is not that much. Okay.
Right, and
That's what holds us back.
If you remember last meeting, when I proposed it if I could have the approval for the number, as long as I could find the funding for the equipment. If I can't find the funding for the equipment, then I can't hire that person because I don't have the funding for the equipment. And again, it's not a paid position. Again, I will leave it up to you.
But there are expenses.
There's always going to be expenses. I mean, it goes back to a free reserve is not really free, and I get that. Trust me, I've been a part of this wheel for almost 30 years as a police officer in different roles. Nothing is free in this world. I mean, that's what it comes down to. There's always a cost to it. It's about whether or not you can find a way to find organizations or companies that are willing to donate things or willing to put forth money to help subdue those costs. Again, I would love that. I would love that approval to say, yeah, you could hire him if you can come up with the money, or if we were to future budget for money, and then that would be fine. Again, I'm not gonna, if the 2 is the 2 to get us back to where we originally were by the end of, for the end of last year, then the 2 is the 2.
How much equipment do you have just for 2, or do you have more equipment for more than just 2?
I know I've got enough for 2 for sure. I may have enough for 3 or 4. 4 would probably be the tops. And that's just because I either have 3 more radios or I have 4 radios. I'd have to look in my supply closet to see if I've got 3 or 4. I know I have for sure 3 radios, for sure. And then the vests, I've got vests, or I've got a little bit of money from some of this stuff that would cover some vests. And then I've got the guns. So the majority of this stuff is covered, but again, if it was approved and I go through my inventory list and see, I've only got enough to hire 2, or I've only got enough to outfit 2, then only 2 people are getting picked. Now, again, that's on me to find the funding for that. I'm not asking the council to put up the funding because I know it's not been budgeted for. The money's not there for it, at least this year, maybe not next year, maybe not the year after that, with depending on what happens with the Senate Bill 1 thing changing.
So what you are asking for us to approve is for you to be allowed to hire up to 15 based upon you finding the equipment for them or the money. And we all agree we want you to replace what's already budgeted, right?
Yes.
Are we missing any other request?
No.
I'm personally okay if you can outfit them safely. So the only thing we would be paying for is a psychological test.
Yes.
How much is that? $400?
Between 4 and 450. There's 2 different companies depending on if one company has availability. Depending on which company has availability.
Now, are we gonna start going down the road of cars again when we increase these numbers?
I don't plan on going down that road because
Okay,
I
just
plan-
checking.
I'm planning-
'cause,
I'm
the
trying
more
to keep-
officers we have, the more
I'm
cars
trying to
we
keep
will-
the cars we have in very good shape. Since you bring it up, not that I'm asking to buy a car. I'm not asking to buy a car. The Charger is going to go to the shop next week. It's got a little bit of a rattle on the front end when you get up to higher speeds. I want to make sure that it's safe. So hopefully it's something very minor that will get fixed relatively quick. But knock on wood.
With what has been said, then I'd like to go ahead and move that we go ahead and proceed with him going to 15 officers, provided he can come up with the equipment and they do pass the test.
11 for sure to fill your 2, and then up to 15.
Right.
Is that a second, Mr. Mark?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
You broke us down.
You just explained it really well.
Well, and again, part of me, maybe I didn't explain right the first time. I obviously misunderstood the last meeting, and I apologize. I'll own that I misunderstood that totally. So,
I'm sorry you got kicked.
oh, okay.
Punched, you got punched.
Punched and kicked.
I got punched
More
and
concerned
kicked.
about the kick.
I got a big knot on my leg from where she kicked me.
Did you have to track her down, or did you find her uptown?
I got her at like 8235 Baltimore.
She on foot?
No,
Oh,
she was in a truck. But I will tell you, Bluff Plumbing, thing that happened, a lady from the bar came out and was on the phone with me. Like, there she goes. She just turned, really good witnesses, really good the community really stepped up. I caught her.
Was it broad daylight when she did it?
Yes.
Yeah, Tammy
Yes,
told me
it was 11
right at lunch.
o'clock.
Any motive? Just again
Um,
vandalism, or just she doesn't like the Masons, or what's the deal?
She doesn't like the Masons.
She can't
Well,
join.
well, because you don't want to know what was carved in the door in public meetings, doesn't need to be said in a public meeting.
Okay.
Very inappropriate. I would say, I mean, Chief Mills was my first officer on scene. He backed me up. He was the first one that showed up. He got there faster than everybody else, but it was, and I think we agree, she was on something. The medics that showed up, I mean, everything, her blood pressure, I mean, everything was leveling out. Her heart rate was really high, but it started coming down pretty quick too. I don't know. She may just had a screw loose that was making her,
Local resident? I mean, just
local to Morgan
generically,
County.
local to Morgan, but
Yeah.
not our community.
No.
Okay.
You have to wait for the details later.
No, it was, again, the residents, the businesses up there, they all stepped up. They all were looking out. I was actually heading over there to have lunch, and like the town phone is blowing up, and they're like, hey, this girl just carved this into the door of the Mason's Lodge. And I'm like, okay, where'd it go? And a really good description of the vehicle, and I was able to catch up to her. And again, just like anybody else, once she found out she was going to jail, that's where it took a nosedive. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Sewer department.
This was used to be my favorite part of the entire council.
It's hard to follow.
Did you get kicked today?
No, he did not. None of that happened.
Not yet.
I just had to deal with a lot of poop from everybody in the radio.
I wouldn't want your job, Sean, at all.
A lot of people say that. I don't know why. So we've got the month of June's operations. We received 9,121,000 gallons this month. Our average daily flow was 304,040 gallons. We're saying. We got 4.2 inches of rain this month. We were at 101% capacity. Our treatment removals were all good. We only wasted 27,840 gallons because our tanks were pretty well full. We did supernate 64,830 gallons. We didn't have any violations. Everything was good. Merrill Brothers has been out. They've pumped down the sludge, the digester tank, and they're starting on the sludge holding tank tomorrow. So we should have those hopefully pumped down within the next month or so.
Can I ask you a quick question on
Sure.
the daily flow average?
Mhm.
Why do you think it was so different from May to June?
Drier month maybe, as far as like, I know the rain is pretty close, but hotter temperatures, drier ground, the ground soaks up some of that rainwater instead of it coming into us maybe.
Well, along with what you just asked, what about, did that have to do with the E. coli being as high as it was last month and not this month?
No, the E. coli and the DO last month, the two violations we got was due to construction. We shut blowers down and they were messing with things that it kind of caused our violations, honestly. It had nothing to do with flow or anything like that. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have violations. And I noted that in the reports.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine. Projects, we have completed the June set of flow meter readings for the Homestead lift stations. You should have that in your packet. Homestead for the whole month of June ended up having 6,420,160 gallons, averaged around 200,000 gallons a day. That's why I was getting the 200 earlier when I was talking about that. So that's 2 months now that it's been around 200. So it's pretty much where we're getting a lot of our flow. The Homestead lift station is operating efficiently. We're still having a problem with an alternating relay that is not working correctly with that. I have got BBC looking into it. Basically, we have to leave pump 2 is the lead pump. If you try to do anything different, it doesn't want to work correctly. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them. They were going to talk to the manufacturer of that alternating relay and see what the story is with that. and I have not heard back. We're currently reviewing US Hydro Act video of the cleaning and televising of homestead sections 1 through 5. We have not completed all of that yet. Another project, Sharp Valley Concrete was due to be out today to work on the concrete in the flow meter pit for the school, but they pushed that back to tomorrow, so they're supposed to be here tomorrow. The new flow meter has been ordered, all the parts and everything's been ordered, so as soon as we get the concrete done, put that flow meter in there and start getting some flow readings from the school. That would be nice. Another thing we have, another project, I've received quotes for purchasing a new pump at the Baltimore Road lift station. I've included those in your packet. So this is the American Pump quotes that we got. There's several pages here. So basically, the Baltimore Road we've got 3 pumps for it. We have 2 and a backup. One of the pumps is pretty much shot. I mean, they can repair it, but the cost to repair is almost the cost of a brand new pump. So the options are repair it for $9,000, new Hydromatic pump, just like the pump that was in there, it's $12,421, or we can go with Barnes American Pump, which is $11,269. To do that, they would have to go down in the station, change out the piping and the railing system and all that. So when Hydromatic pumps, which are strictly BBC, when they do those, they make a specific type of railing system for their pumps, and it won't work with other pumps.
They can't make an adapter for those barns that the Hydromatic flames will bolt on?
That's what I asked her. She said they could, but if you do that, she's not going to guarantee it's not going to hold up well. She said typically what they've been finding out is after about a year, those go bad.
We used to do that a lot back in the day.
Yeah, she said they'll last you about a year, but then after that, you're going to end up back where we are now, where they got to replace the piping and the railing and everything. And she said when you replace it with American Pump's railing, that will work with any pump. It'll work with the Hydromatics. It'll work. You know what I'm talking about? Instead of the eye, it's just 2 poles.
So the fiberglass, it's 2 aluminum poles.
Yeah, 2 aluminum poles that
Or
go down
stainless.
instead of that I beam that they use to slide the pump up and down on it, BBC, because that is specifically to their type of pump, and you can't put anything else in there otherwise, unless you change with an adapter. And then she said they can do that, but she's only going to guarantee a year out of that, and you're going to be back doing this, because what it is, it eats it all up, just from kicking on and off. So what she says, tears it up. But
Did we, when we were talking about these before, we did find somebody that would rebuild the pumps nearby? Like, I think that was part of the thing, like it was taking forever for one place to get them back or something like that.
BBC, they're just, I don't know if they're just busy or they just don't care or what the deal is, but it takes forever to get them to do much of anything anymore. It's under new management. They've changed a lot of things that wasn't like that.
So how old is the one that we would be rebuilding? How old is it? Like,
The
how long
one,
has it
these are
been?
original pumps for Baltimore Road.
20 years?
Yeah, so they're like 20 years old. And I still have our spare in the back of my truck that my crane went out, so I had to buy a new relay for it, and then I installed it last weekend. So I got it back up and running, so I can put our spare down in there. We'll have 2 pumps for Baltimore Road, like it's supposed to, but we don't have a third now. So this isn't something that I need you guys to make a decision on right this second or anything like that, but something to think about, whether you want to keep going with BBC or if you want to try to switch to American Pump.
Have you had, have you had done business with American Pump?
Yeah, they replaced the valve there and they did a pretty good job. I mean,
Okay.
it seems like they're a little more willing to come out and respond a little better than what BBC is. I mean, the whole reason I got that crane truck was for us, because I can't get people to come out and service our stations or pull pumps or do anything. So I went and bought a $50,000 truck so we can pull our pumps and do what we need to do instead of being stuck waiting and having issues. I don't like the town being subject to a subcontractor that refuses to work on weekends or overnights. I mean, I don't have that option. If I've got a problem at a station and I got sewer coming out, it's going to get on the ground. It's my butt. I got to get out there and fix it. I can't just be like, oh, it's the weekend, I'm not coming. So
that's why you pay you
Yeah,
big
more
bucks.
discussion.
But I
I would move that we go ahead and approve the quote for American. If that's if he knows what kind of work they do, it's not that much different from what the other quote is as well too. And we can't trust BBC, I would go with that.
It's actually
All three
cheaper.
quotes are from American though, right?
Yeah, all three quotes are from
Oh,
American.
I'm sorry. I thought it was that Toric Engineering on there.
That's for our spare parts.
Oh, never
That's
mind.
a whole
for the
separate
spare
issue.
Okay,
But the one pump, they'll buy it from BBC for an hydromatic, it's about 12,000. And then for them to supply the Barnes pump is 11,269, and that's for them to install it.
I'd like
Here's
to-
my only concern about switching now.
that's what I was.
Eventually, those lift stations will have to be rehabbed.
Right.
Because they are 25 years old, so stuff's gonna start breaking.
Right.
So instead of having a conglomeration of this or that, you know what I'm saying, until that point comes,
That's why with that 11.2 with the Barnes, that would be rehabbing that piping and the.
they
you know
ain't
what I'm
gonna put
talking
new
about?
piping all the way up and new base elbow and all
They
that.
won't be doing all that.
Yeah, so it's not really rehabbing, it's just putting
Well,
the
it's
rail
just-
system,
Yeah,
new
and the bottom.
base in with the rail system for that pump to fit.
So what are you recommending, Ryan?
I would say we stay, unfortunately, with hydromatic now
Okay.
until it's time, you know, because eventually these things are gonna have to be rehabbed from the ground up.
Okay.
Right.
So then
But
that's when we
piping's
can.
piping though, right? I mean,
Yeah, that
wouldn't-
ductile iron's still gonna blow out over a period of time.
Right, but American Pump can supply ductile iron pipe just like.
Yeah, but what I'm
BBC.
saying is, eventually you're gonna have, all American Pump's probably gonna do now is put a new base elbow in.
Yeah, they're gonna put a base elbow at the bottom and a new flange, or, you know, a new set for the pump to go down in. They're not gonna replace any of the
Yeah,
standpipe or the.
But eventually they're probably gonna have to be rehabbed from the ground up.
Well, yeah, but my point is ductile iron pipe's a ductile iron pipe, whether you have BBC.
Oh, no, I'm not
replace or-
saying that, I'm just saying,
Oh, okay.
instead of having one pump or another pump, you know what I'm saying? We wait until
Oh,
we
yeah, I
have
wanna,
to.
if we do this, yeah, I agree. Eventually you wanna do the other side too and make it,
Exactly.
Barnes as well. Yes, absolutely.
I would draw. a
I didn't
motion
understand what you were saying.
Because I want to see what what kind of recommendation Ryan would have, because he has experience with this. as
That's
well.
my
I
only
would
thing.
defer to what he
Yeah,
has.
no, I agree, yeah.
We're
eventually
gonna
you're
have start
wanna-
gumming up and you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna have a Barnes, we're gonna have a hydromatic.
Right.
We got a spare hydromatic now, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I want to do though, is try to, if we're having this many issues with BBC and hydromatic, it's not hydromatic pump, it's their vendor. It's BBC that's the issue. And so if we're gonna have this many issues, should we start phasing them out and slowly start moving stuff over to Barnes or a different distributor with a vendor that actually will respond and take care of our stuff? that we
Ryan,
need
can
to
you
take care of?
explain to me exactly what you're talking about that still would need to be, because that is actually a concern that I have about our infrastructure and the age that it is. So
Right.
what are you saying when you say that it's gonna have to be changed out?
Eventually, there's gonna be problems that you're gonna be replacing elbows, the pipes, the control panel, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like
Which
what,
we would obviously like to do before there's an actual problem.
but in this world, you really don't do that until something goes wrong type of deal.
So how much piping are you talking about? Is
Well,
it
it
like where
depends
I
on
thought it
how-
was a big old deal to just put?
No,
another
it's not a
station in?
big deal. It's cost some money, but I guess what I'm getting at is, do we start now or do we wait till later? You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying, because remember I wanted to just put a quick little lift station in, and I didn't realize it was $100,000.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, like, what does this cost to fix this? If
If they're doing it all for $11,000 and a hydromatic pump would slide down there, and we're wanting to, I hate getting rid of hydromatic because I think hydromatic pumps are pretty solid, but
They're good pumps, but
But with that being said, if they're not going to support us, then we need to work with somebody that is going to support us.
And you're saying if we order from the American people, even though they're selling us a BBC pump, they'll be the ones that,
no, you would, if it's a BBC pump, I would probably say we would want to go to BBC and try to get a.
The hydromatic price that's on this sheet is through American Pump,
So it's probably
that-
marked up,
got the price through BBC, so
Yeah.
it'd be like a third-party deal.
right? Because
So-
BBC is the vendor for that.
If we go with the Barnes pump, American Pump is a Barnes dealer.
Okay. So what are you recommending we do here?
I mean,
See,
you
for
know
me,
more about this than the rest of us do.
Again, we don't need a decision tonight. I've got a spare pump. in the
Yeah,
back
but
of
we
my
don't need to
truck.
wait until we don't have nothing and
Right.
We're
that I
trying
can-
to not lose stuff in the shuffle anymore.
Right, well, I got a pump I can throw in there and we're back to 2 pumps. So this would be our spare. So, I mean, this isn't a decision we need right now, but this is something we need to think about, like he's saying, phasing stuff out. And are we gonna phase out and go with a different pump and a different distributor, or are we gonna keep
because to
going
me,
with
putting
PVC?
$9,000 in a pump that's 25 years old and a pump's, once you get in them, they ain't ever gonna be right ever again.
Okay.
Once you rebuild it,
Yeah, I mean, because you're in it.
And we've done that several times.
Seals, cracked or what, I mean,
We're seeing lots of heads shaking, so.
even a new pump you could have problems out of, but
Right,
don't put $9,000 into a 25-year-old pump when you could put, I know money's money and it's $2,000 more, but still,
still.
it hadn't been, the stator hasn't been rewound and, on and on and on.
Right.
So I would say if we're gonna do something to try to get away from BBC, we do the Barnes deal and
Yeah.
put one of them in for now and
I mean,
then,
it's up to you guys, whether you guys want to keep going with BBC and Hydromatic, what we have, or do you want to try to phase out? 6 on one side, half dozen on me. I don't get anything
Yeah,
different.
but if BBC isn't responding, I mean, then
No, I know.
we're
That's-
kind of at the mercy of it.
That's my problem that I don't like, is they're not responding.
but the hydromatic pump will go down a Barnes rail system.
Yes, that's what they said.
So then we would still have
We would still have that
a
option.
spare pump later
Yes.
on down the road.
Okay, and if that's his motion, I'm going to second. That we proceed.
And purchase a pump now?
Because we don't have a spare.
Yeah, we don't have a spare. We have 2 for, that station.
Can we go ahead and
We've
hear
always
your
had 3.
other stuff too before we
Sure.
vote on that?
Absolutely. Okay, where was I at? Merrill Brothers, I talked about that, started doing the solids removal treatment facility. They have the digester pump down and they started on the sludge holding tank. I also received the quotes for the spare parts that we need for all the lift stations in town, and that's in your packet.
How much did that go up by adding Homestead? Do you remember?
I forget.
I thought it was around like 10 or something
Was
before.
it 10? I thought maybe it was 11. I couldn't.
Was it
I don't
that high?
remember. I don't remember now, unfortunately, but I was thinking it was 11. But yeah, it's 12,420 for everything. And that with Homestead, that's, bigger, starter contactors, because those are huge pumps, like they're gigantic.
And you
that's
still need
for
another pump
3.
there, right?
Yeah, we still need a 3rd pump there. We only have the 2.
And that's 20 grand.
Yeah, and those are the 2 brand new ones we bought, and those are from BBC. That's a Surami. They're different type of pump they're trying to sell now.
So, you think we're gonna need that 3rd pump fairly soon? Just for a backup even?
Probably, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, it's something we need to think about. I don't
That's a
think we need,
triplex station already,
Yes.
though, right?
and that's part of why the alternating relay's not wanting to work right. It's designed for 3 pumps and we've only got 2 in there. So for some reason, it's screwing the relay up and it's causing issues, but that's why they're trying to look into that. Yeah, I'd say within the next year, we want to look at getting a 3rd pump, for sure.
Would you be okay if we reached out to BBC with our business, basically? Do you want to keep our business or don't you?
Yeah. I don't care. That's fine with me.
And let Ryan, talk to them, and honestly, if we're going to buy it,
Hey,
maybe
everybody needs to
not.
work for you.
Ryan and I are the 2 nicest people out there.
No, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, we're talking a $20,000 pump, a $12,000 pump, well, that goes toward the other 12,000. And just tell them, here's our problem.
He might have better luck with than me. I mean, I've talked to, who I'm talking about, the guy up there. I've talked to him several times. I represent not just Monrovia, I represent other places
So you're
too.
you're kind of like a buying group. You
Yeah,
think that you would,
so I've even threatened, like, I'll tell everybody to quit using you guys if you guys don't start taking care of us better. And I've even talked to my old employer, West Central Conservancy District in Avon, and they take care of a lot of stations. I mean, they have like 36 stations in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring a lot of business to them, and they're getting the same kind of crap from them.
I had a discussion with somebody over over this over the weekend.
Did you really? Imagine that. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's not just me. I'm hearing this from a lot of people that since Bill Barr left, which was the previous owner, who was great guy, he did really good with the business. But since he left and the ownership changed, it's not been the same. It's like they don't care. Service part of things they could care less about anymore. They don't hardly provide service. And when they do, it's not good. Like what happened with us at the Homestead Station, it blew up, and we had our electricians look at it and said, yeah, that wasn't wired right. Found out they had a guy out there wiring pumps that wasn't an electrician. I mean,
What's West Central doing now? Who are they? Who's their
they
main?
do a lot on their own now. That's what a lot of places are doing because they won't respond. Like
They rebuilding their own stuff.
They
and just
rebuild their
buying
own
parts.
pumps. They have their own crane trucks. Yeah. Which is great for a place like that. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they're huge.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that's the whole town of Avon. But for a little place like us, we can't even afford to buy a crane truck. So that's why I bought a crane truck. Just try to help us out.
I think that we can vote on the spare parts. I'm open to hearing what you have to say too, but I do believe that maybe you might be able to,
I doubt it.
really don't think.
Not after the conversation that I had.
Well, it doesn't sound like we want to. It sounds like what you're saying, we would be better off to move business.
My experience, yes.
It's Fisher.
It's not the
Cut Bank.
same company as it was when I started working for you guys in 2001. A lot has changed, not for the better. ITT or Flight is another pump company that we used to use. Same thing happened with them, changed ownership.
What about that one place over here, like Smith Valley Road back in there? Are they still, what was the name of that other one down there in Greenwood? Like on 37, the interstate now, 69, but
Oh, by the wastewater treatment.
there, no, it's like, it was overall, I'll think of it. You know where, like there were some ball diamonds there and there was like an RV place and then tucked back in there was a little, it'd been farther north than Smith Valley. Don't worry about it.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I just don't remember any.
Yeah, I'll think of it sometime. It's no
I
big deal.
spoke to Toric today
Yeah.
also on something completely unrelated. And they're gonna, they live in Monrovia.
Yeah,
They're going to send out one of their sales reps to answer some questions for me.
Good.
And so I would like, if you're not gonna be in a pinch in the next 30 days, to hold off while we ask Lockmuller, while we ask VS, like, are there any resources that we don't know and what would they do? And just get everybody's input before
well,
we
that's fine. We're
Make
not,
a decision.
that's what I was saying. We're not in a pinch. There's a pump in the back and I plan on putting that in at Baltimore Road and we'll have 2 pumps there again. That's not an issue. We're not in a problem or a pinch in that regard, as long as we're doing something going forward. We don't want to go a year like that without a spare.
No, gosh,
But-
no, we definitely don't.
But yeah, like, 30 days, even a month or two would be fine.
Just remember though, if something happens, you're
Yeah.
Right.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, right. Or you're renting a pump, like. what
Or
we
we're
did.
renting pump and
Renting
throwing
for
money
money.
out the window again.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we go ahead and just purchase that pump? I mean, I would rather not go ahead and rent and throw money out the window. My God, we're already
Well,
doing that on a blower for Pete's sake.
Right, right.
I mean, it's $9,500 a month.
It's fine if we go ahead and say it, but will you give me a week lead time?
Yeah. I mean,
We can vote on it. I'm just saying I want to make a couple of calls.
sure. No, I think it's, but however you guys want to do it. I have, like I said,
I think Ryan's saying he doesn't want to wait for 4 more weeks to vote on it.
And I'll second that motion.
I don't want to wait another month to vote on it because to me, renting a pump, you might as well
right.
drive down the road and throw $100 bills out the window.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's your
I
motion,
agree.
Mr. Marsh?
Well, are we talking about the torque? We kind of.
Are we talking Toric or are we talking
Well,
both?
I know we're talking about the
gears.
pump. We're
I
talking about
know,
American
but
pump.
We were talking about torque, then we went back to the
Yeah.
pump. So we're kind of all over the place.
I
so
don't see,
just
I don't
wanna
see
make
us
sure we
having,
understand.
having a problem waiting on Toric at all, but I do
Toric's
think that we're
great.
gonna
Is
need
that what you're
it.
wanting to wait on this Toric?
No, I
No,
wanted
it's
to talk to Toric about the pump decision.
But it's because I don't understand.
But the Torque's electrical, they're not gonna have any,
They ain't
they don't
gonna
have
clue about
pumps,
pumps.
period. But they help us with the electrical parts of things, definitely.
I would go with Ryan's judgment on this.
I would say that we get a pump
Yes.
and we can hold off on the Torque if you want, if we want to hold off on the spare parts for a while.
And I'll
But I do
second that.
think the spare parts is something else because we almost told you to order it and then we decided to get Homestead in, even though they were under warranty. But I think the spare parts is another issue that we need to have on the shelf. So
I don't have any problem with the spare parts. I just needed some more information about the pumps. So I will definitely go with whatever you think we should do on the pumps because I don't understand.
Well, he's already made a motion, I seconded it.
He hasn't made a motion though.
Huh?
It's not made a
I
motion.
haven't made a motion yet. I haven't said I make a motion. I have not said that.
Now, I think the Torque quote, I mean, my personal opinion, I think you guys should definitely go with that. So we have the parts on hand. If something goes out, I can switch them out. And that's.
I make a motion that we switch the spare pump at Baltimore to the Barnes. So we have a spare pump and we do the Torque deal. So we have parts here. So when something bad happens, we're not renting pumps. We can get back up and running in a timely manner.
I second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank
Trying
you.
to second this thing.
I will let them all know.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and then I had a couple other things here. So it's been brought up, and we went over this at the, our Public Works meeting the other night. I did a cost analysis because when I started this, it was 2001. None of the board members are the same now. A lot of those guys are passed on or retired or whatever. Ed's still around, but he don't come too much anymore. But anyhow, so when I started this in 2001, the agreement with the town and me was to, provide services. I was able to use their lab. It was kind of a give and take, helped everybody out. And that was with Bob and I and everything else. At the time, the town could not afford to hire me as an employee. So that was something we never really even thought about because there was just no way we could afford it. So it's been brought up to check and see if I could be hired as an employee, if that would be cost effective for the town, if that would help the town out. So I did do some research and come to find out, still to this day, it would be double what you're currently paying us monthly if you were to hire a certified operator to work for the town. So I did give you guys the figures on that. I did some research online and stuff just to find out what it would cost.
That's in here.
Yeah.
Your vacation package wouldn't cost us $2,000.
Well,
He's going to
that
Disney
was for a year's time and
We got
then.
rid of the blower.
For a year though.
Yeah.
I mean, so you could take, that number would go down.
Oh, yeah, that's
Quite a
not
bit.
monthly, sorry. Yeah, that's not right. That would be yearly. I'm sorry.
When you gave that to us last week, I'm like,
Oops.
dang, he's going to Disney every month.
Yeah, right. No, that would be yearly. I apologize. So that's not right. Oops.
No, Bree's the one who figured that up, right? Yeah, she wants to go on vacation.
Yeah, she wants to go to Disney World. No, but
Every month.
I don't know how much that would change it. That's a good question.
Take it down to 10,000.
Yeah.
You'll take it.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would, wouldn't it? So yeah, it still wouldn't be cost effective for the town to do that. But I did want to give you guys some numbers and some information just to see what you thought. Because I'm not against that ever. I mean, when I started this, the whole reason I did a business was because the town couldn't afford an employee and they had to have a business. They had to have a business with insurance and everything else. Heck, you guys were my only customer when I started in 2001. And then it just kind of grew from there. Food
Thank
for
you.
thought. And then I wanted to let you guys know our contract is also up. So we're going to be working on a renewal for the next board meeting with you guys. And then also I'm going to be out of town this weekend. But one of my guys, we do have 2 part-time employees. One of the part-time guys is going to be on call for us. He lives here in town, lives in Homestead. That way everything's covered. You guys have any questions for me or anything else?
Can you brief everybody where you're at with IDEM on the sludge?
My little idea or?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
so
I emailed.
did IDEM say you do or do not need a permit?
See, I don't know. The way he emailed me back and the way I took that is if I can change the tank back over to a sludge holding tank quickly,
You didn't
which I
need-
could.
That's how I read it.
Okay, so that's how you read it too. Okay. My understanding was that I didn't need to do a permit modification, which, I mean, as an operator, you should have some flexibility with how I run my plant. I should be allowed to do these things without having to do that. But talking to the IDEM inspector, that is our inspector, he wanted me to reach out and make sure I got approval. So I emailed him again just to verify. So you're telling me, I can't do this and I don't need a permit modification. Because I told him it could be like a year or two, whenever our expansion is done is when we would, phase that out, go back to normal operation.
Yeah, I read it to say that if you can return it to its normal function, that it didn't require
And
a
that's
permit.
what I would think too,
But I think just putting it out, that's straightforward and saying, I'm reading this to say, and
yeah.
just verify, but, so then what do you need from us? Anything, just wait
No.
for it to all get pumped out?
Yeah, and they're doing that now. So once I get the approval from IDEM that says, hey, yeah, you can go and change your sludge holding tank into basically it will be a flow equalization pre-aeration basin. So what will happen is part of the raw sewage will go to that tank in the very back instead of going to the front, and it will fill that up during the day or in high flow periods. We'll have timers on that, and it'll just pump it out overnight. Just midnight to 5, 6 in the morning, we almost have no flow. I mean, you can see it on the flow charts. It drops down to practically nothing because, everybody's asleep. Everybody's in bed. We don't have a whole lot of commercial. We have no industry, so we don't have any flow coming in. The problem is throughout the day where it hits so hard that I'll go out there in the morning, we'll sludge judge, and we're doing good. We're 2-3 feet. Well, by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I do it again, and you can see the blankets. I mean, we've got 2 or 3 feet of clear water before that solids start going to the creek. We don't want that. So that's why I'm trying to get this approved. That will help us offset that. Instead of having these drastic changes from morning to afternoon, it'd be 4 or 5 feet all day long.
Gotcha.
So I'm just waiting on their approval. Once I get their approval, I forget what it was, the cost. I told you it wouldn't cost much. I mean, it's a cheap fix. It's easy to do, so
All for it.
help us out.
That it?
I think so, unless you guys have something for me.
Anyone else have anything?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Do we have a Parks and Rec update, Mary Ann, or?
They will have a special meeting next week to discuss the fitness campaign. That Hall had actually gotten approved for, but Nikki Laycoats, I believe is how you pronounce her name, something fell through with it, and she suggested that Monrovia get it. So they're gonna have a special meeting to discuss that with the health department and Brian Hudson.
Awesome.
And it's just an outdoor fitness center at the park.
It's like $180,000 of outdoor fitness equipment.
And where's the source of it coming from?
The Morgan County Health.
Some was from the Morgan County Health. I believe Nikki had gotten some grants, and then some of it was coming from the fitness campaign. But yes, $180,000 has been raised. The project will cost between, I think it said $150,000 and $250,000, depending on if we can get contractors to do some of the work for less of a cost. But they're gonna present that to the Park and Rec Board next week.
Has anybody, okay. Because this reminds me of the park, has anybody talked to Zach Schomburg about the Veterans
I've
Memorial?
not heard from
I
Zach.
called him about a week ago and asked him to call me because I've heard that an organization made a donation that would
I'm
Finish
part of that I'm part of that organization and we're having trouble making contact. Well, yeah, more or less, we're having trouble also.
get a hold of him.
Yeah, because it was a sizable amount to finish the project or to get his goal amount finished. And we obviously aren't going to finalize that donation until we get some communication from him and some things. So, yeah.
Can you make
I will
a call
reach out
for
to
me?
him tomorrow.
Thank you. All right, let's see what's next. Public Works.
Okay. One of the main things we talked about was vacating alleys north of Prairie Street. I think we all agreed on that would be acceptable. The one question we had come up was the cost of transferring that property to the owners. And so, I guess the town will not pick that up, and so the individual owners will end up doing that.
And they'll have to pay for a survey and everything?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm thinking, if you have an alleyway, how much of it goes to one neighbor and how much of it goes to the other?
Darren Marley is here to speak on that. He was actually the one that brought this to my attention again.
Oh.
If you'd like to step up to the podium, so they can hear you.
These alleys they're worthless. There's no utilities in them, they've never been used. How this will go is adjoining property owners will get half, they'll get 7 feet.
Okay.
It's pretty much simple as that.
Right.
Now, to the north side of me, I did some digging, I can't find it. My uncle supposedly got the county to abandon that alley back in the early 70s. I can't prove that.
Okay. But it looks like everybody else has anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the map is
Yeah,
concerned.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nobody would even know their alleys.
But I can understand it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as, luckily, within the last 3 years, I'm surveying. My stakes are there. We can very easily find out exactly where half the alley is, all the way around.
Okay.
My stakes are still visible and be an easy go.
The only trick is getting the new legal descriptions written.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's, because they're gonna wanna know who's paying the taxes on it.
Mhm.
I don't even know who's paying the taxes on it. I don't know if that falls onto the town. I
Towns don't
know
pay taxes, right?
It's public, yeah, which there wouldn't be any taxes paid.
there wouldn't be any.
Not if it was an alley, if it's government owned, there's
Okay.
there's nothing.
Because I know what my square footage was. That's what I'm showing I pay taxes on. So I didn't know how that was handled around. And I'm sure the county's gonna wanna know if each of us get the 7 feet
yeah, they will.
times.
Oh, yeah.
They're
times
gonna know how much
69.
bigger
Yeah,
your
they're
property
gonna
is.
wanna get the money.
Something that goes from tax exempt to now.
That's why I brought up the surveying, because that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna
So,
be a survey.
when you guys, the previous council, when you vacated the alley by Dairyland with the guy put the fence across the paved alley?
That was never an alley. We didn't vacate it. It was never an official alley.
Exactly what they're saying, yep.
I mean,
Never
people
an alley.
used it as that, but it wasn't really an alley.
So,
There's no precedent on how that was done?
Right.
My guess is, I've never done it before, but because it's public property, you have to record something.
Yes, I actually have dealt with this before.
Yeah, like it's weird, like you have to record something, abandoning it and vacating it, and any interest in it. And
You gotta
then-
file a lawsuit or
Yeah.
file a,
I think
I had a house that had sold 6-7 times, and the title company found that there was a non-vacated alley that ran right through the middle of it, even though the house was 85 years old.
So they filed a lawsuit to quiet title.
So we had to go quiet title through the
Like
court.
this, I think would be different because it's proactive, not reactive.
yeah,
So it would just be abandoning it and vacating it and
Thank you, Dan.
something that would be recorded. That's a good question.
I'm interested in like looking into what it's gonna cost.
Yeah, and as long as you guys say yes, move forward, we can investigate what all needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a report, but I would say the council needs to vote on it because that vote, the recordation of that vote will need to be attached to any, like, recording that's filed like pursuant to the council. They voted to vacate these on this date, so that anybody, it's out there in the public either. So then when it's recorded to vacate, it'll be out there. I would want it with my land too, if it was me.
You'd what?
Want it with my land, like recorded, like with whatever they do, the four people that are, when they replat the land for tax purposes and surveying, like I'd want that recorded so that it's known that it was vacated. So if they go to sell it in the future, people aren't doing what you had to deal with.
So if we take a vote today on it,
So
then
are
we can
we,
go ahead and
are we
resolve.
gonna make a motion for her to find out the cost?
Yeah,
Or are we
because
gonna vote?
I
to
think
make
not,
it?
my thing is I want to know how much it's going to cost us before we agree to vacate them. Like what the expense is, you know, is it,
So what you're saying also is the opposite, is the fact that if the price is too high and we don't want to pay it, we can just kind of ignore it?
Yeah.
Can we do that? Okay, I mean, can we,
we have been for
I mean, yeah, I know we have, but I'm
200
saying,
years.
yeah. So we'll just continue ignoring it if the cost is just
We'll
ridiculous.
continue to let him continue to enjoy
I'll look into
his
this
current
too. It
yard.
shouldn't be because everyone's, well, I'm not gonna speak for you guys. If people are in agreement and the council is, agreement to that, I don't think it would, I literally think it's probably just a recording. And putting the public on notice that I don't think a public hearing is needed, but I could be wrong. But just like something to trigger the public.
Sounds like we need more information.
Yeah.
Well, like what he was saying, the only thing I'm concerned about is if they do go ahead and give this extra land to the homeowner, I mean, they're gonna end up having to pay more in tax and that sort of thing, and I don't wanna be adding to the tax woes of the homeowner if all we have to do is just ignore it, we just move on and we're fine.
Yeah, but if we ignore it, who's gonna keep maintaining a town property?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
all right,
The
okay,
homeowners to do it, which is basically me.
okay.
And if, I think there'd be 1, 2, 3, there'd be 4 people affected. I will pay it if I can get the full house. If I get the full 14 feet, and this person doesn't want to pay it,
Mm-hmm,
I'll pay it.
okay.
I'll pay it. I'll take it all.
I think, Mary, did you ever speak to someone in Morgan? I know we talked about this probably a year ago.
Yes, we did.
And I said, Morgan County certainly has had to have dealt with this before, vacating side roads, alleys, public property, not a condemnation lawsuit, but did you ever speak with anyone that what do we need to do in order to?
I have not, but I know that Danny started this process.
Yeah, 'cause I think I talked about it
For
with
the
him
ones
too.
of you that have been on the council a while, remember?
Mhm.
And I don't remember why it just stopped.
I'll see.
Things like that.
If we find out how much it's gonna cost us first, I'd wanna wait and see. I'd move that we table this until next month.
And give Marion some time to get some information together.
I believe, are you the gentleman that lives at 30 West Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, we spoke. Do you have anything to say, since we're talking about alleys?
We wrote the project, we got the project started, they stopped a little bit before my property over there because we're trying to get some line issues where we think the line needs to go.
For the video, would you mind coming up here? 'Cause
That's fine. But, yeah, we're getting kind of some line issues about where we're wanting to take the alley over to. So Mary Ann had swung by, she had stopped, she talked to me on Friday. I'd showed her over there, there's no official surveys been done in that area, period, where we're gonna figure out where the line was. I showed her, if you go up to that front corner of my property closest to the post office, there's a big rock that is set into the ground over there with following stones that go up from it. Looks like it was the old original property line that goes up that side over there. I showed her, I said, if you run it down, it goes directly in line with Darren's grass and Nancy's asphalt in a straight line down that. And I told him, I said, look, there is about 3.5 foot-ish of grass that is coming out of my driveway. No gravel's been put down in probably 30 years. It's grown out from there. I said, if you run that in a direct line down that way and just line that up, I'm perfectly fine with them scraping up that 3.5 foot to give that back to what the alley is over there on it to try to keep, because the issue we're having now anyway is if two people try, which you've seen plenty, there's plenty of too much traffic, honestly, going up and down that alleyway. To begin with, people aren't using the paved. Well, people aren't using the paved. Everybody wants to use that alley to go to either the bank or the post office.
because it dumps off right at their box. So we constantly have people wanting to go up and down that alley 24/7. And the issue we're having now is if people try to go two abreast to go down that way, they're going over into the yard anyway. So I'm already getting tire tracks and everything up and down my yard anyway, as is. So I go, it's like, okay, let's clear that up, give that section back a little bit, try to give a little more room there. But yeah, on that, I'm the same as what Darren was talking about on the maintaining portion of it on it, is I think that's kind of the same issue we're gonna run into there anyway. You guys are already paying, I'm not sure how to stymie it either way, but you guys are already paying to redo that alley, but there's so much traffic going up and down that alley. I think you're probably gonna be right back in the same situation you were alley condition wise of it being hard packed and turning it into a mud puddle. But I'm not sure how you would stymie or slow the amount of traffic you got going down through there anyway, as is.
Dakota, everybody, when I was up there, we was talking about Prairie Street. With Dakota, we're talking about right here.
Right, I know.
So if anybody's getting confused why
Yeah,
I'm being included in this.
Yeah, I'm the big yellow one right across from the post office. So that's it. He's moving into that fully, gonna be moving eventually fully into the other one over there. So that's where we're at on that. We've been looking at it, trying to go out there and trying to figure out kind of solution wise. Had a good conversation with Mary Ann on getting a good idea of where to take, whoever, I forget what you said the guy's name was who was doing it.
Mason Trucking.
Yeah, on a good line for him to come through and go ahead and grade that back up, flatten it out with the rest of the alley to go ahead and start getting that rest of that project done on getting that gravel in.
Mary and I went out and looked at it today, and I think I asked if I'm gonna call Larison at Holloway and see if he'll come set a laser for us.
Okay.
So we can see where it goes and find your pins.
Okay.
I mean, not a full survey, but see if we can find your pins and get a pretty good idea.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only one on that. The only concern we really had on it whatsoever is getting a good established line, because that tree is directly on the corner of the property. If you get too far over, we're gonna start tearing up roots. Yep. For the tree there. And if you get too far over there, then there's also, you got about, the way the alley is formed now after all the usage is there's actually probably about a 7.5 inch elevation change from directly next to my shed to the alley. So if you scrape all that up and flatten it, now I'm gonna have a lip.
And
over
so,
there.
as you know, I was telling Nancy and Mary Ann today, I used to walk that alley when I was a little girl, and there was a hill there.
Yeah.
There was a little hill there.
Yeah, it looks like it did come down from the way the yard was. That was the only other concern I'd really had, is if they did scrape it, are they getting enough gravel put down back in it to where I just don't have this weird drop off, 5-6 inch drop off over there from when they scrape it.
Right.
It creates a weird situation for anybody wanting to park there, or tires rubbing against it if anybody gets too far over, or,
Well, there shouldn't be anybody parking in the alley. Oh, you mean in your grass?
yeah, in the
Okay.
grass. Yeah, over there, because that's what we use we have parking there. We do parking there right next to my shed in that section over there, because we only have the two spots for parking. I don't like having anybody park up front on the road across from the bank. I don't find it safe over there for anybody getting in and out, and it creates an unsafe situation for anybody coming up and down the road or anybody getting out of their vehicles. So I try not to have anybody park over there, because it just creates a bad situation for anybody. So that was all on that portion for the alley work.
So I guess I need a motion for table. Do
That's what I did. I made a motion to table it.
we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
And as soon as she gets that information, we'll be able to make a decision on it, I guess.
So put it back on the next one for us. Any other additional comments?
I was approached about getting a red reflector strips for putting on stop signs. It could be an expensive proposition, depends upon who we get them from and how long the strips are. So in other words, they go from the bottom of the stop sign down to maybe the ground.
All the stop signs or certain stop signs?
Well, I would say limited.
And we don't have that many, but I'm just saying, where are we talking?
Well, we could get it just about everywhere, Prairie Street, and 39, you can, go Washington Street, 39.
Are they saying that they don't know that there's a stop there? or
Well,
something?
it makes it easier to see. It's just another, and then another thing was, brought up, maybe we can get reflective tape and just go around the hexagonal, sign. Maybe a 1 inch wide around the outside of the sign, with reflective tape.
So the
I don't like
reflective,
change, that's my whole problem.
the reflexive tape, is it set up for an octagon? I mean, does it come in like a package, it's just for one stop sign, or is
You'd
it?
have,
I don't think a layperson could just change a stop sign though. I mean, I think like a certified company, because like if someone, if you do something that screws it up and then someone blows through it, and then guess who's getting sued for putting reflective tape on a stop sign?
That was maybe not adequate to, I mean, have we had some near misses or what's the,
it was just brought up,
or actual traffic
somebody mentioned
accidents?
it, and so.
Somebody, that's somebody, always gets a lot of people in
I don't
trouble.
remember who it was.
Okay.
I would agree. The fact is, the law says that stop signs have to be a certain height, a certain way. If you want them to have the reflective thing around.
That's fine, that way.
That way, people put on.
Give them to the
But
research.
talking about description, go up and down and buy those, but then again, talking expensive. But yeah, there is some legal ramifications, let alone something blows the stop sign, or if we're just writing tickets and the stop sign is an altered, now they can fight the ticket and win, because now the stop sign is not regulated.
Well, they make those flashing ones that flash around the whole octagon, and I think they're solar powered, maybe, some of them. Have we priced, I mean, we don't have that many stop signs, right? So do we want to look at pricing and just get a ballpark of how much something like that would cost?
Yeah, I didn't know how.
I would love to have some of those, because most of those would be like, potentially where you could easily take one down, unbolt one, put that one up temporarily, maybe for a couple of weeks, and then we had another stop, we bought a couple of them.
Oh, I see. You move them around.
Unbolt one, put it up, let this flashing one do its thing, and then once maybe that calms down, then move it to another location, put the original one back up, so we're not altering the original, we're putting the original stop sign back up, but the flashing ones are legal because you can buy them to go on stop sign locations. I mean, I think
We have one coming down 39 or Keller
that was
Hill.
a big trailer one that we got from the county at one point. Keller Hill has the
Yeah, that's what it is.
cross one, but
Yeah.
that's a state pays for that.
Okay.
It's on state road. But yeah, I'll look into some of those, but they get pretty expensive.
They have one over on Indiana, I think, on Indiana Street in Mooresville now, as you come to County Line Road.
Okay.
In Indiana, there's one there.
Oh, by the church.
Yeah, there's also up there, in Hendricks County, Indiana Street, north. And that, housing addition there on the side, they've got, flashing red lights on the stop signs.
And I did forget, Ricky and I have claims for the plant upgrades. We paid for those.
Okay,
It was sent by Oppenweiler Construction, and the print is so small, I have a magnifying glass to make out what it was.
Yeah, I think I.
Is that lean stuff that you gave us?
I think, in the-
That's in our packet.
I-
You want to see the package?
Yeah, Ricky's got. You guys have questions?
yeah, we had asked Ricky to make sure that what they are billing us
Yes.
for has been done. That was the only
That's,
holdup.
and yeah, and I checked through everything. I mean, you see how small this is.
Yeah.
So I was hoping Lou would be here so I could address to him. I want that in bigger print. I mean, I took a magnifying glass and a while for me to make sure
what they were saying was accurate, but Ricky and I sat down, met, and went over it, and we were even calculating the figures and stuff to make sure it was accurate, and they weren't charging us twice, because he has two separate claims. We wanted to make sure it was the right amount, and everything adds up to what they've done, yep, it's accurate.
Well, I so move that we pay.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for catching that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
All right, we have a budget hearing, right, Marion? Next special meeting scheduled August 13th.
Yes.
What time is that meeting?
6:30 PM.
I just put it in my
So
calendar, so I'll be there. And then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I shall make the motion.
I'll second.
Adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Miss Carol. You get to sign first. Before you do your signature.